moving out is like jumping off a 20-foot cliff into a pool of water. It takes a lot of mental preparation just to stand on the ledge, let alone actually jumping. You see, some days you got the courage to go up there, but you just couldn't get yourself to jump, yet you have the urge to. So many days you walk home with shame because you wanted to jump and make that leap of faith like so many have before you. Today we're discussing how I decided to make that jump into moving out on my own. High school, I'm going to give you guys a little quick backstory. High school was kind of weird for me, as anybody who went through COVID during that whole year, whatever. But, I worked numerous jobs throughout high school. And I did YouTube off and on. That was kind of my passion, kind of my hobby when it came to outside of school, extracurricular. I always wanted to do YouTube videos and edit videos and stuff. That was always my passion. But I was highly involved in the school. I was in SGA, Chick-fil-A club, whatever club you could think of, I was in it until I did dual enrollment my 10th grade year. And I did dual enrollment for about 2 years. And then after I came back from dual enrollment my senior year, the first semester was good. And the second semester, COVID hit. And it kind of tore everything apart. I didn't have a graduation. I didn't have a prom, everything like that, and we kind of became the forgotten class, the forgotten class of 2020. And so, of course, I took a mental hit on that because I was kind of prepared and I had worked so many years of school just to get to that, point, and just for it to go to waste. And it kind of definitely made me feel away. And I was in a mood for probably a good 6 months. I was just kind of distraught. Like, wow, I really won't be able to enjoy, the things that I've worked so hard for 12, 13 years for, So eventually I ended up going to college. I went to college the same year as COVID. So I went to college in 2020 as well. And there was no face-to-face, of course. And I did move in, but unfortunately, due to a lack of funds, I actually had to move out my second week of school. And that definitely took a toll on me as well, as far as getting in a rhythm with my schoolwork and trying to get to know the campus and get to know the resources and everything that I had paid for, Not to mention, maybe going into my second year, I actually started working a full-time job, and then I also went to school full-time. And if you know people out there who are in college, that working a job and going to school full-time is very, very tedious. It's very hard. It's nothing easy. It's something that really takes a certain kind of human being, a certain type of drive and motivation. And, with COVID going on, a lot of that drive and motivation really wasn't in there for me, as was it for a lot of other people as well. But, the reason why I wanted to make that leap or that jump is to get back into being creative. And I felt like I needed to have my own creative space. It's also giving me a sense of motivation. It's giving me a sense of drive again, as it was pre-COVID. And it's not just because I have to pay rent, but it's also to be able to afford the lifestyle I want to live. When COVID hit, a lot of people took a toll financially. A lot of families took a toll financially, and it made it kind of hard for the generation that was coming up, because we were going through a point where we really needed, our upbringing, our village, our families, and everything like that. But they were going through it as well, and so to not be able to call on them when you need them is like, you kind of already like on your own, and so I kind of had to go through that. And that's kind of the start of my hustler mentality. And we'll get more into that as we go through this video. Now, mind you, it took a lot of deliberation, a lot of preparation. I promise you, this was not a quick decision. I mean, it probably took about 2 years before I actually, I had the thought, after I moved out of my dorm the first time. But again, I couldn't act on it at the time. I had to move. I had to play chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want people to think that I think this is sweet, or that I don't give this fake facade that I'm just so ecstatic about it and I have no worries. I'm actually really nervous, and I'm a little scared, but I know I'm highly capable of living on my own comfortably, just because of who I was raised by, the family that I have, and the support system that I've had growing up. I know that I was prepared the right way. Now, I did attempt to move about a year ago, and unfortunately, it wasn't the time. Of course, I didn't let anybody know because I was just trying to deliberate and finally find to do these things on my own, And just at the time, I thought the job that I had was the one that I was going to keep, and it just wasn't the right time for me. And you know, I give that to God, because God is just on my side for sure, and I know He is. And He had to sit me down and humble me, like, hold on, sir, like, really take time and understand what you're going through, and don't make decisions off of impulse. I don't think that was a gut feeling. That wasn't a gut feeling of moving out that first time. That first time, it was like I was just going off of emotion, you know, not logic. More recently, maybe early on this year, I actually attempted to move across the country to San Antonio, but it just wasn't the right time yet again. And honestly, I really thought it was. Like, I really thought it was. I had everything planned out. Literally, I had every plan out from step 1, 2, 3, 4. I had everything right. I had a job out there already. I had everything set up. But I don't know, like, something at the last minute was just like, not right now, you know, not right now, right? And so maybe about a month after that, I took a tour of this place here in Atlanta, because I was like, you know, well, if I can't go out there, let me just see what my options are here. So I took a tour of this place, and it was so, like, maybe because I'm a guy, I'm very simple, but for some reason, I just felt like I could be there, you know? And I could give a story on another video about the other apartments that I had toured prior to that I that I thought I liked, but I didn't. And I can give you guys another video about that another time. But when I took a tour of that place, I fell in love with it the exact day, and I applied the same day. And then the next day I got approved, and then the next day after that I signed my lease. It was definitely easier than I thought. You know, I don't know why, but I just thought that my lack of rental history, and I was always taught that, like, you know, when you got out of college, you got to make sure you have great credit. You got to make sure you got to do this, you got to do that. And you got to make sure that everything's in place so that when you move into your apartment, they can accept you. You know, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get one because you're so young, and this, that, and the third. And, you know, it was kind of a shocker that, like, I was approved that quick. You know, I thought it'd been a longer process, couple weeks, couple months, and I finally get a result. But like right then and there, you know, the next day, got approved. I didn't even have to pay a security deposit. Like, that's the crazy part, is I don't have to really pay a security deposit. I mean, I paid my moving fee and everything, but that's it. You know, like, I don't even have a security deposit. And so the next thing for me is, it's very unfortunate that a lot of people doubt that I can't handle this. And, you know, the funny thing is, it makes me want to move out even more, oddly enough. Like, it makes me want to now. Like, I probably would have felt a little different if everybody was on, like, board with it. Like, yeah. But if me getting pushback made me want to do it even more. And it just makes me have a sense of liberation, you know, like a sense of pressure as well, in contrast, because I also need to prove to everyone and myself that this was the decision that I made the right decision, that this is a decision that I needed to make at the time, and that I'm indeed ready to be an adult, you know. And I spoke on this earlier, but developing that hustler's mindset is what helped me the most. I've had the hustler's mindset for probably I've had the hustler's mindset since COVID happened. When COVID hit, I started doing DoorDash because I immediately knew that people were going to need food. They didn't want to leave the house. I immediately knew that I would make a killing on DoorDash. I just turned 18. I just got a car. And I just, you know what? I'm about to go make some money because I needed money, and I didn't like working 9-to-5 jobs. I hated jobs. We'll get to another video on that because, oh, Lord Jesus, there's a whole different explanation for that one. But I started hustling during DoorDash, and I was probably bringing in $200 a week. You know, may not be much to people ordering me, but $200 a week on just delivering food. And some weeks was like 300. Tips was even more. So, you know, I was bringing in probably like a band $1,200-1,500 a month on just DoorDash, you know, and I wasn't even out there all day, every day. I'd probably go out 11 in the morning and come back at like 6-7 o'clock at night, you know? So I was good. You feel me? Like that I was great, you know? And ever since then I realized, like, trading my time for money just wasn't my thing. Like that's when I knew that maybe I should starting businesses, making side hustles, really exchanging my passion, exchanging my hobbies, exchanging my actual work for actual dollars amount instead of my time. You know, because if you don't know, time is way more valuable than money. Me giving you 8 hours of my day is way more than what they're giving me in exchange. Whether it's $15 or $20 a month, it doesn't add up at all. You know, especially if you know what you're worth inside. And it's like being a hustler. There's also hustler has always had a coined negative kind of negative denotation. You know, it's, when you hustle somebody, you on the street scamming people. That's hustling. You know, I'm finna hustle you for your cash. We finna play basketball. I know I'm better than you, so I'm gonna ask you, let's shoot some hoops for some money, knowing that I'm a win automatically. That's hustling somebody. But I want to spin it. I want to change it. You know, having a hustler's mindset is being able to fill holes when they're being made. You know, like making something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like doing whatever you can to put yourself in the best position to be successful. That's what it means in my definition to be a hustler. And whether that's focusing on your side hustles or turning your passion into revenue, or getting a second job, at the end of the day, that's hustling, because you're trying to get the life you deserve and you're putting yourself in a position to be successful. And I believe that, and I will always believe that. No one ever changed my mind. And that, well, in another video, I'll get to why that has caused a lot of controversy with me as well. But before I made the decision to move, I had to get my mindset right? So I don't know if you guys heard this term, but proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? It says what it says. I don't really have to explain it. But in order to have proper preparation to prevent poor performance, you must have the right priorities, right? And so going into this new environment, this new realm, this new side quest, this new journey, I have set priorities for myself that will keep me in line and keep me disciplined. And so I will be able, and which will help me put myself in a position to be successful. Of course, is, rent and utilities are first and foremost. Car insurance second, phone bill is third. And of course, like groceries and everything like that, I consider that rent and utilities, because that's an automatic, that's a given. I have my rent automatically coming out of my check every pay period. Same with my groceries. I have a set amount of money coming out of my check every pay period to allocate to that. I'm not letting my money tell me what I can do. I'm telling my money what to do. You know what I mean? That's a part of priorities as well. And one thing that I have on here that I feel like is very key is paying yourself. I pay myself every check. I pay myself every single check. I pay myself every single check, whether it's 401k, whether that's in my life insurance, whether it's my savings account. If I don't have enough spillover to put in my savings, it's in my life insurance. If I don't have my life insurance plan, it's in my 401k. Best believe it. Because at the end of the day, you are first before anybody else, after God. And then everything else is etc. Entertainment, dates, everything else is afterwards. But God, yourself, rent, car insurance, phone bill, that's what's left. Okay. And I want to make this clear. Don't ever be afraid to grind for the life you deserve. The criticism is going to come. Trust me. If you're getting criticized, you're doing something right. If people feel like you're not doing the right thing, or not necessarily that, if people feel like the decisions that you make are controversial, or people feel like what you're doing, they feel like it's not the best. Like, if you believe in it, you're doing the right thing. If your mindset and your decisions have got you to a better place, even though, despite the fact people have been telling you otherwise, believe in yourself, believe in your gut, believe in the word. You feel me? Don't ever let anybody change your mindset. And remember to create, elevate, and motivate. And I'll catch you guys to the next one.